this person is a predator, and he's one of several. And I have proof. It's not like I'm just making false accusations. The receipts, the recordings down to the police department, and let them hear this individual, the month and the year that he showed up to my apartment and offered me $100,000.
But here's a story time about how filming Meet the Browns was the most stressful and hardest thing that I've ever done in my entire life. I had no idea that Tyler Perry's studio schedule was so drastic. If you're working on a regular network show, they take a whole week.
He's got the whole world in his hands. Got the whole world in his hands. Hey, I'm just sitting here on my porch just looking. What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. For my help? Some of y'all know the rest. I just wanted to come on and just tell everybody, just be as calm as you can.
So, Katt Williams just pulled the pin and rolled a grenade straight into Hollywood's living room. And the name written on that grenade? Tyler Perry. Now, before you blink, yes, you heard that right. The same Tyler Perry whose movies your mom plays every Easter Sunday is now being accused of running the industry like it's his own personal Hunger Games. And Katt? He didn't just whisper it. He yelled it into a megaphone. He's calling out predators, secret offers, and $100,000 hush deals like he's reading straight from a deleted Netflix documentary script. It's not even subtle anymore. This man said, "I got proof." And honestly, when Katt Williams says he's got receipts, you know they're probably laminated and alphabetized. Fans are losing it on X, formerly Twitter, flooding timelines with memes like greater than Tyler Perry's studio about to drop the real-life version of Medea's witness protection. Meanwhile, Reddit detectives are already digging up old behind-the-scenes stories, connecting dots like it's a true crime board. And the craziest part? We're barely 30 seconds in. Because what Katt is describing here isn't just about one awkward encounter or one shady offer. He's painting a picture of a system, one where silence buys you a role and speaking up buys you unemployment. And if you think this is wild, wait till you hear what happens when Katt claims Tyler Perry's entire casting process runs on hidden rules that Hollywood doesn't want you to know about. You're not ready for this next part.
I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you naked. I declined. Because again, scenic route, I got my integrity with me. I'll take the long way around. I recorded it because I didn't trust him. And I had told him over and over. And he still always tried shit. So if people don't believe me, they can hear him. I can press play and you can hear the person and you'll know immediately who the person is that's offering me $100,000 to strip. You'll know right away. And it'll break your heart.
You know what's insane? Katt Williams didn't just expose a few bad habits. He basically said Tyler Perry's studio operates like a billionaire boot camp, where actors work like robots and dare not blink without permission. Apparently, Perry's schedule makes normal Hollywood productions look like a paid vacation. We're talking 12-hour days, one-day episode shoots, and zero time for actors to even breathe. This isn't a film set, it's the Olympics of exhaustion. And the wildest part? Katt isn't just roasting for laughs. He's telling us how Perry runs his empire like a one-man government. The man writes, directs, edits, casts, builds the set, runs the camera, and probably controls the weather on location too. Katt's basically saying, you're not working with Tyler Perry. You're living inside Tyler Perry's brain. And the rent? Your silence. Fans are already calling it the Medea Matrix. One viral tweet said, "Imagine getting yelled at by Medea and your boss at the same time." Another said, "Bro, Tyler Perry be like, I don't need actors, I need obedient disciples." And that's exactly what Katt was hinting at. This isn't just about long work hours. It's about power, the kind that decides who eats, who stars, and who disappears. Because according to Katt, Perry's empire doesn't reward talent, it rewards loyalty. You can be Shakespeare reincarnated, but if you question his control, bye-bye career. That's not a studio, that's a cult with better lighting. And it's starting to look like Katt's finally saying out loud what a lot of actors have been whispering for years. But trust me, this rabbit hole goes even deeper. Because what Katt revealed next, It makes this look like the calm before the real Hollywood
Film an
storm.
episode in one day. The character was Jeffrey, a fat high school teenager who was very intellectual, who was getting bullied at school. I take 2 to 3 days to learn the entire script. On the day of filming, first thing we do is a table read. I know all of my lines. I'm ready to go. So the director, who is Alfonso Ribeiro Carlton in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he starts to block us, telling the actors where to go, where to stand. Mr. Perry comes in, everything changes. So we literally run the entire episode for him, and he hates.
Okay, pause. Let's really unpack that. Because Katt didn't just expose shady casting, he just described a Hollywood Hunger Games, where the real audition happens after you get the role. What he's describing here sounds less like acting and more like a loyalty test. You want to be in a Tyler Perry movie? Cool. But first, you better prove you'll keep quiet, even when things get weird. Katt says he was offered $100,000, not for a movie deal, but to literally strip. And if that line didn't make your jaw drop, check your pulse. He even said he recorded the interaction, because, and I quote, "I didn't trust him." That's not a line from a stand-up bit. That's a line from someone who's seen too much. Fans are already calling this the Casting Couch Chronicles Tyler Perry edition. TikTok is flooded with reactions like, "This ain't Medea's family reunion, it's Medea's blacklist." And so it's not about talent, it's about silence? Oh, okay. Now, the reused actors make sense. Reddit threads are exploding with names of actors who mysteriously vanished after one movie, like they got digitally erased from Perry's phone contacts overnight. Katt says it's not about ability, it's about obedience. And that hits hard, because suddenly all those disappearances, all those creative differences, start to sound a lot less random. He even said he has recordings, literal proof, that could break hearts. And honestly, that's the scariest part, because when someone like Katt, who's been blackballed before, says, "I have receipts," you know he's not bluffing. If he drops those tapes, we might be looking at one of the biggest shakeups in Black Hollywood history. But you might want to brace yourself, because the next part takes this from weird industry story to full-blown Hollywood scandal mode. You're not ready for this next reveal.
Learn a whole new script? Yes, that's what it means. Mr. Perry, on the spot, starts rewriting the entire script, and he's feeding me the lines to say, and the director is kind of standing on the side like, "You better do it, because if not, they will fire you." Here is where the shoe hit the fan. So in the middle of Mr. Perry changing up the scenes, he says, "You know, I want Jeffrey to be gay, and he has a crush on his bully. That's not what I auditioned."
That line right there. You'll never work in Atlanta again. You can feel the venom dripping off it. That's not just a threat, that's a sentence. Because in Hollywood, and especially Black Hollywood, Atlanta is the empire. If you're blackballed there, it's like getting erased from your own culture. Katt's describing something most people in the industry whisper about, but never say out loud. Not because it isn't true, but because nobody wants to be next on the blacklist. When he said doors started closing, that wasn't metaphorical. That's how it works. You stop getting callbacks. Your name mysteriously vanishes from production lists. And suddenly, nobody's picking up your calls. It's not a coincidence. It's a quiet system. One text, one phone call, and your career is basically over. And this is the part that really gets people. Katt didn't say this like some bitter ex-actor looking for clout. He said it like someone who's been through the system, saw how it works, and survived it. Fans online are split right now. Some are saying, maybe Katt's exaggerating. Others are saying, this man's been warning us for years, y'all just didn't listen. And honestly, the pattern fits. Every time Katt starts pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's inner circle, something happens. An arrest, a mental health story, a career meltdown, almost like clockwork. That's why this clip hit different. It wasn't just gossip, it was confirmation. Proof that silence is the real currency of fame. Because when you control who speaks, you control what the world believes. And Tyler Perry? He's built an empire on controlling the narrative. But what happens when that narrative starts crumbling, live, in real time, on the internet? Because that's exactly what's happening next.
I'm glad you're here. Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
I wasn't walking away from the money. I was walking away from the circumstances with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14. I've heard the stories, seen these kinds of things play out in front of me, I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah.
It's incredibly stressful.
And there it is, the line that turned a confession into a revolution. "I'd rather be real and broke than rich and owned." That's not just a quote, that's a whole manifesto in one sentence. Because what Katt's saying here is something most celebrities never admit. Hollywood doesn't cancel people for being wrong. It cancels them for being uncontrollable. And Katt, he's the living definition of that. Unfiltered, unscripted, untamed. The kind of man you can't bribe with silence or polish with PR. Think about it. How many times have we seen this story before? Someone in the industry starts talking too loud. Next thing you know, they're labeled crazy, difficult, or washed up. That's not coincidence. That's management by character assassination. They don't ruin your career overnight. They drain your credibility drip by drip. And that's exactly what happened to Katt. They couldn't own him, so they tried to erase him. But the internet changed the game. Now every clip, every soundbite, every live stream, it's all permanent. You can't bury the truth under studio contracts anymore. And that's why this moment matters. It's not just about Katt versus Tyler Perry. It's about artists versus control, truth versus silence, freedom versus fame. Because the second you choose to speak your truth in a system built on secrets, you become the story. And now, the story's out there. Raw, unedited, unstoppable. Fans are already calling this Katt Williams' redemption arc. Memes are everywhere. TikTok edits with captions like, "They tried to bury him, but forgot he was a seed." It's wild. But beneath all the chaos and memes, there's something real. A warning, a message, and a shift. Because when one person says no, it gives others permission to stop pretending too. So maybe, just maybe, this isn't the downfall. Maybe this is the reset. You know a story's about to get messy when the people who used to laugh together start pulling out receipts. From the moment Katt Williams sat down and started talking, you could feel it wasn't another comedy rant. It was confession, revelation, and a warning, all wrapped into one breath. His tone was steady but heavy, the kind of calm that only comes when someone has seen too much and finally stops caring who believes them. He wasn't chasing headlines. He was reclaiming history. The way he described what happened didn't sound like gossip. It sounded like documentation. Every pause, every sentence carried that exhaustion you only hear from someone who has been through every rumor and survived every setup. You could sense the frustration building underneath the composure, like a man tired of pretending that Hollywood's golden glow isn't powered by secrets and silence. Katt's voice carried decades of frustration that too many comedians swallow to keep their contracts. He wasn't attacking, he was explaining. And the more he explained, the more uncomfortable the truth became. It wasn't just about one meeting or one studio. It was about a system where power hides behind generosity and where opportunity often comes with invisible chains. When he said the offer came with conditions, people in the industry knew exactly what that meant because they'd seen it happen before. The internet exploded the moment the clip dropped. Fans on TikTok, Reddit, and X started threading timelines, pulling up old interviews, lining up dates and coincidences. People who had once dismissed Katt as erratic were suddenly saying, "Wait, he's been warning us about this for years." The tone online shifted from disbelief to recognition, and that shift is dangerous for anyone who profits off silence. Then came the part that made everyone stop scrolling. He talked about that visit, the knock on the door, the cash offer, the threat that followed. No one could miss the way his voice hardened when he quoted those words. "You'll never work in Atlanta again." That line sliced through the internet like a cold wind. You could hear the subtext. This wasn't just a random argument, it was professional exile. Because Atlanta isn't just a city anymore, it's the beating heart of Black Hollywood. Being shut out there means being erased from your own cultural backyard. The quiet blacklist is more powerful than any official cancellation. You don't get told you're banned, you just stop being called. Projects that once depended on your name suddenly go in another direction. Producers who once promised collaborations suddenly don't have the budget. It's death by 1,000 polite excuses. Katt laid it out plainly. He wasn't crying victim, he was exposing the pattern. You speak out, they label you difficult. You question the system, they call you unstable. You refuse to play along, and suddenly, your opportunities evaporate. It's a cycle older than streaming services and slick PR teams, and he knew it by heart. Online, fans started comparing notes. Some posted screenshots of old news headlines about Katt's meltdowns and asked why every story seemed to drop right after he spoke against someone powerful. Others pulled clips from award shows and interviews where fellow comedians hinted at the same kind of gatekeeping. One tweet that went viral said, "They don't cancel you all at once. They drain your credibility drip by drip until no one remembers who you were." That comment alone racked up thousands of likes because everyone recognized the pattern. Through it all, Katt didn't sound bitter. He sounded liberated. He'd already lost the thing they could take from him, his access, and once you've lost that, you become untouchable in a new way. His calm was unnerving because it meant he wasn't playing defense anymore. He was narrating the game itself. And then came the turning point, the line that sealed this as more than an interview. "I'd rather be real and broke than rich and owned." You could practically feel the internet stop to breathe that in. It wasn't performative, it was final. That sentence summed up everything Hollywood doesn't want its audience to realize. That fame often costs your autonomy, that success comes with strings you can't cut without bleeding. The weight of those words traveled fast. Edits flooded TikTok with captions like, "They tried to bury him but forgot he was a seed." Memes mixed with genuine reflection. Even people who had never been fans found themselves quoting him. Because beneath the drama, there was something universal. The fight to stay yourself in a world that rewards masks. Katt's story became a mirror for every artist who ever had to choose between truth and comfort. He wasn't just talking about one director or one project. He was exposing the machinery that keeps the entertainment world polished on the outside and rotten at its core. He'd seen how quickly a person could go from next big thing to industry liability the moment they stop obeying invisible rules. And here's the irony. Hollywood loves redemption arcs, but it hates real redemption. It wants scripted apologies and PR-managed comebacks, not raw honesty that questions the system itself. Katt's refusal to conform breaks the format, and that's what makes him dangerous. When you can't be predicted, you can't be controlled. The internet has become his amplifier. Every clip, every quote, every out-of-context sound bite fuels the conversation. What once got buried by studio silence now trends in minutes. The power dynamic has shifted. For the first time, the audience decides what stays buried and what resurfaces. And right now, the audience isn't letting this one die. People are calling this the start of Katt Williams' redemption era. Not because he's rebranding himself, but because truth finally found a platform bigger than the gatekeepers. This is what happens when authenticity outpaces algorithms. Viewers can smell when something's real, and that's why this hit different. Behind the memes and the chaos, there's a lesson burning through the noise. In an industry built on illusion, honesty is rebellion. Every time someone like Katt chooses truth over optics, the curtain lifts a little higher. You start to see the contracts, the unspoken rules, the fragile egos hiding behind million-dollar smiles. So maybe this isn't just another celebrity scandal. Maybe it's a blueprint for survival in a system that punishes individuality. Katt's decision to speak wasn't self-destruction, it was clarity. The kind of clarity that comes when you've lost everything they can threaten you with. And now, the question hangs in the air like a challenge. Did Katt Williams just end Tyler Perry's clean image era, or did he just put a spotlight on the machinery that keeps everyone else silent? Hollywood will decide its narrative, but the internet already picked its side. The more people watch, the harder it gets to rewrite. Because truth doesn't fade when the cameras cut, it multiplies. Every share, every clip, every conversation keeps it alive. This isn't the downfall, this feels like the reset. So before you scroll away, think about what this really means. How many more voices have been muted by the same unspoken threats? How many careers quietly disappeared because someone said no to the wrong person? The silence we call professionalism might actually be fear disguised as loyalty. And that's why this story matters. It's not gossip, it's anatomy. The anatomy of control, of reputation, of what happens when courage meets consequence. Katt chose courage. And no matter what comes next, that choice already changed the game. So what do you think? Did Katt finally pull back the last curtain on Hollywood's so-called family empire? Or is this another story they'll twist until we forget what started it? And don't go anywhere. Click the next video you see on your screen for even more juicy celebrity chaos, betrayals, and stories Hollywood doesn't want you to know. See you in the next one.